A very good morning to you. It is 10 past 10 on Friday the 13th of November. Apologies first of all for my attire. I come in my sports gear and tend to get dressed into my suit before school, but with meetings or whatever this morning I've actually not got round to that yet and not even left my office properly. But I will get dressed at some stage very shortly. Anyway, what a week it's been on all levels. I think last time I spoke to you I mentioned it was both my daughter's birthdays. My eldest turned 20 last Friday and the youngest was 15 on Tuesday just gone. So we had a great weekend of domestic celebrations and that progressed into Tuesday as well, of course. So that was a great time and it was good to spend some quality time with the family. I also mentioned last week, of course, the American presidential elections. Now, it's not my job to be political, you know that. I wouldn't dream of it, but I have to say I'm pretty pleased with the result from our perspective. I think the 4 years of toxicity and bigotry and discrimination that pervaded that administration didn't do us any favours on this side of the Atlantic and indeed in schools. And again, I think some of the messages we try and share amongst our young people in the context of those values of community and fairness, etc., it's very hard when certain people feel empowered by some of the messages they're getting from elsewhere. So I have to say, I think the world's a better place, or will be a better place, with Mr. Biden at the helm rather than President Trump. But anyway, that's my view and my perspective on things within the school context. Something else this week, some of the news in the media, you may have read about a gentleman by the name of Jonathan Sacks, a former chief rabbi in the UK, passed away very sadly in his early 70s with cancer. Jonathan Sacks, I thought, was a brilliant man. I heard him speak on a couple of occasions and was heavily influenced and inspired by his book, Not in God's Name, which dealt with the issues around religious extremism and that concept of dualism and lack of identity in society, which leads to violence of that sort, and a very much worth a read, and indeed inspired and prompted the Them and Us programme, which our young people follow in tutor time. But if you get a chance to read anything by Jonathan Sacks, then I would recommend that book in particular, but other works as well. But he was a sad loss for a great contributor to British religious life, but also literary life as well, and matters of that sort. So rest in peace, Jonathan Sacks, I would add. Very sadly, of course, today it is also the funeral of Jeremy Whiston, our former student who went on to join St Bede's College in Manchester as part of the Manchester City Academy. But a tragic story, and unfortunately I can't get down there to stand on the roadside to share a moment with other mourners, but I know some of our students and staff are, and our thoughts and prayers are with Jeremy's family at this very tragic time. But again, all the very best to all concerned there. A message to us all. In school, on an upbeat note, it's been a great week. Mocks have continued, and the 11s and Year 13s taking those seriously and doing exceptionally well, judging by what's coming out. I sent an email to the parents of Year 11 and Year 13. The DfE issued an update following the decision in Wales to cancel GCSEs and A-levels next year. At the moment, the DfE are standing firm in England and are going ahead with GCSEs and A-levels, and we have to work to that end ourselves, although many are pushing for some form of teacher assessment as part of that process, which seems to me to be a sensible solution, a sensible compromise. But at the moment, it is fully exams. We are teaching in that regard, and we prepare the young people as well as always for that process, and wait to see whatever the other developments may take place in the meantime. It's been, of course, Poppy Appeal Week this week, and Mr. Gershel has coordinated the selling of poppies over the last few weeks, and of course we had a Poppy Appeal a poppy-themed tutor session last Thursday, and a beautifully observed 2-minute silence on this week on the 11th as well. Wednesday, wasn't it, the 11th of November? So thank you to all the pupils and staff who observed that so perfectly on Wednesday morning. Thursday, we had the a themed tutor period on transgender and gender issues, pushing LGBTQ plus agenda as well, and that seems to be very well received by our young people, carrying on, as I say, that theme of diversity in tutor time on a Thursday as well. And I'm delighted to report that we have had confirmation that we can recommence school sport as of next week. That has been Sport England and Youth Sport Trust, and people have been asking the government for confirmation following the issuing of the most recent lockdown guidance for schools. But yes, we can go back to school sport practices. No games, of course, no fixtures as of next week. Unfortunately, I can't make Tuesday for my Year 7 rugby team, but hoping that somebody else can be a standing coach for the night. Hopefully Mr. Burgess can do that. Okay, so some good news there. I had a great opportunity this week to present some certificates to Year 11s. Dozen or so Year 11s done exceptionally well in terms, I think it was getting over 220 positive behaviour points this term already, and very few negatives, of course. Their ratios are also very high, so an absolute pleasure to give out certificates and some vouchers for the Trafford Centre to those concerned. So well done Year 11s, and I'm sure there'll be many, many more to follow with those certificates and other rewards we will issue during the course of the year. So it shows our 11s are carrying on regardless and cracking on with their work. A quick COVID update to finish with. I said I want to be brief today. I think I exaggerated the figures last week. There have now been 9 positive cases amongst the pupils altogether in 10 weeks of schooling, 11 weeks altogether since we returned. 9 cases, 1 member of staff, and that's done remarkably well. And I asked the office to tot up how many pupils have been isolated on the back of that as close contacts. And it's 130 pupils. That's all. 130 pupils in 10 weeks have had to stay at home for a length of time because they've been close contacts with students who have tested positive. Now, as I say, compared to other schools with whole classes and year groups being sent home, and in some cases more than once this last few weeks, and that's a pretty good achievement. Okay, so fingers crossed that may continue. But that's my update for this week on that. However, I suppose it's not those headline figures, how many pupils have caught the virus, how many staff, how many have isolated, but I suppose how we're all feeling, isn't it? And I know, speaking to staff and speaking to pupils, yeah, people are a bit down in the dumps. People are a bit flat. We come to school, we work hard, we share time together, and we go home. The options of things to do is very limited. The weekends are limited. What's Christmas going to be like? All those things. So yeah, I think we're all feeling a bit sort of flat, and we have our wobbles and our moments, but that's perfectly normal. As I said last week, there's so much to do. So let's get ourselves out there. Look at it, sun shining in today, the sport on the telly, go for the walk, do a bit of exercise. I did some training with my son last night, who's said he's 18 and outperforming me by some margins now. But there's lots we can possibly do. So please, Tuesday night, my youngest daughter's birthday, she insisted we play a series of board games and other daft games as well, which I was reluctant to engage with initially because I was rather tired. But after the takeaway and a glass of wine, we had a great night. And so we can make our own fun and be creative. So, and do everything we possibly can to support each other with our families and our peers and our friendship groups, either remotely or when we can together. Okay, so keep our chins up is a message. This will all be over. News of vaccines is welcome by all, but that may be some time off. So keep our chins up. Okay, enough for me. I'm waffling again, as is my wont. Have a great weekend. Under 10 minutes is remarkable time, so I won't go on. Have a good one. The weather's good. Make the most of it. Get outside. Enjoy the fresh air. And I look forward to reconvening this time next week. I'll go and get dressed. Bye-bye for now. Take care.